Hey guys, how are you? Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday out there. We're halfway through the week. Also, hope you guys had a wonderful 4th of July. Seems like it's been a while since I've been on here. Of course, I haven't been posting a lot lately. Let me explain why that is. So, last week I was on vacation, I was away outside the area. Also, the 4th of July on Saturday was actually my birthday. So I was celebrating 4th of July along with my birthday as well. Happy birthday to me. Firecracker, you name it. Hey, I said I was, so that's what I've been doing as of late here. Hey, live chat's open. If you guys want to post a comment, say hello, greatly appreciate it. And so let's talk about the weather here for tomorrow because there is a slight risk for severe weather. And we also have a marginal risk as well for Friday. So let's go ahead and pull up. This is from the National Weather Service office in Paducah. This is what they posted. They posted it this afternoon. So as you can see, a level 2 slight risk for severe weather. Scattered and numerous storms are possible from late Thursday afternoon through the night. Now, some of these storms may be severe with the primary threat of being damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. Wetter soils may allow trees to uproot or fall more readily. Now, we've had rain here as of late. I can tell you right now, it stormed over in Fairfield. We had a storm move through there this afternoon. And of course, there's been some rain in the prior days. And so if you get a good strong gust of wind, it could actually blow down some trees. So we have to watch out for that. Also, very heavy downpours may also pose a flash flooding concern. Training storms may pose a greater threat through the night. Now, what does it mean by training storms? What does that mean? Well, training storms means it's like, think of it like a train, okay? It's like a train on a railroad track. You have your engine, you have the box cars, you have the caboose at the end, right? And so if you have a train, it's just like here's the engine, and then you have several box cars. It's going over the same track over and over again. That's what training storms are like. They're just going through the same area over and over again. And I'm going to quote, if you recall, I quote this line when it comes to flooding. If you recall in the film Jumanji, starring Robin Williams, going back to the 90s, there was a line that he said. It was about the monsoon part of the movie. For those of you who watch the film, you know what I'm talking about. And remember what his friend, I think it was Sarah, I think in the movie, said, a little rain wouldn't hurt anybody, but then Robin says, yeah, but a lot could kill you. And that's certainly the case here about flooding, is if you have flash flooding, a lot of it, then yeah, it does pose a greater threat. So we have to be on our guard that, again, if you haven't been traveling in the nighttime, just be aware of flash flooding in the area. There's roads, there's areas that are prone to flooding. And so turn around, don't drown. Remember that. All right, so I want to show you guys this right here. And so I talked about the level 2 risk for severe weather as for tomorrow. As you can see, this is for tomorrow. This yellow area right here, we got Evansville, Princeton, Vincennes, Mount Vernon. Heck, we can zoom in a little bit. Sorry about that. That was me drawing earlier because I like drawing. But anyway, as you can see right there, that is the weather for tomorrow. So as you can see, we can zoom in a little bit more tighter. So Salem, Mount Vernon, Illinois, Fairfield, Poseyville, Evansville, Princeton. I talked about Princeton, Henderson, Owensboro, Benton, McLeansburg, Carmi. So pretty much all over Southern Illinois, St. Louis area. Slight risk for severe weather for tomorrow. Now let's go ahead and take this a little bit further. Tornado risk for tomorrow. And this is why I was drawing on here earlier, by the way. So we'll call it the nadir risk. Nadir risk for tomorrow, only 2%. So the green area that you see right here, tornado threat, 2%. Let's go to wind. There's your wind right there. And this time I'm going to adjust the color of this a little bit. So wind, 15%. Okay, so we have the wind threat, which is the primary threat. We talked about that for the story. Now, let's go ahead and talk about hail. Because I want to be comical a little bit. Okay, 15%. So the same as the wind. Okay, so that is, so tornado 2%, wind 15, hail 15. Now, for those of you that are wondering about this, go back to that right here. Take a good look at this because, and I didn't mean to draw on there again. But as we zoom out a little bit, you have 64, I-70, 57, I-55. You also have I-69, Highway 41, Highway 50. I know there's countless highways and all that. Let's go ahead and talk about the future tracker for this. So this is the latest update for future tracker. This is tomorrow on Thursday at 4 a.m. Okay, and let me draw that as well here for you. So okay, so if you guys can see that, all right. So this is Thursday, 4 a.m. As you can see, we have a cluster of showers and storms. Again, this is all future tracker right here. But you see there's Kansas City over here. There's Maryville. Heaviest of the storms right there. Northwestern Missouri. Northeastern Kansas. And as we clear this out, I'm going to show you what it's going to progress like. This is 5 a.m. This is 6. Kind of see a weakening trend a little bit. Maybe some pop-up, maybe pop some showers and storms right about Columbia, Missouri. This is 8. This is 9. Still in a weakening trend a little bit. Now notice how it kind of breaks up around the St. Louis area. So you kind of have one group up here. You have another group in the Cape Girardeau, Jonesboro, Arkansas area. So we're at 10 a.m. At noon, you start to see this little curly Q of a line. I want you to keep an eye on a little curly Q. See how it kind of curls around Quincy, Illinois? Okay, so as we take a look at this, this is 12 noon, 1 o'clock. You think, oh, the line's going away. Look what happens at 2 o'clock. We start to see storms fire up. Now, again, this is all future tracker, okay? Take it with a grain of salt as it is. Excuse me for a moment. So as you can see, you start to see Canton, Havana, west of Springfield, southwest, north of St. Louis. You start to see these storms start popping up. And let me go ahead and draw this again here to tell you what time this is. So this is 2 p.m. This is where you start to see showers and storms forming. Now, take it with a grain of salt. This could happen either ahead of time. It could be like maybe like, you know, in terms of like maybe it might speed things up a little bit. It could be maybe like 3 o'clock, or it could be a little bit behind. It could be 1 or even noon. But still, this is what the latest forecast model, the HRRR, is showing here. All right. Let's go a little bit further. We start to see additional development. Notice how it's starting to kind of become kind of more north-south a little bit. Got through Lincoln, Springfield, I-55 corridor, approaching I-70. 4 o'clock. Start to see some additional storms fire up around Macomb, east of Macomb, west of Lincoln. You kind of start to see it trying to go like this, kind of like what we saw a few hours ago. Remember how it was like this? You kind of saw this right here. Again, that was at 12. A few hours later, there it is. This is 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock. Start to see it bowing out. We talked about the wind potential. We talked about the hail potential with this. And this is what that's what they are saying here. Storm Prediction Center, National Weather Service is what they're saying. And then by 6 o'clock, there's the line. There's the cluster. Let me zoom in a little bit. So this is 6 o'clock. So here's Fairfield right here. Here's Mount Vernon. There's DuQuoin. There's Cesar. So it's impacting the Red Lake area. This is Highway 15, of course. I-64, I-57. 64 continues on. In Highway 15, you also have the 161 extension, Highway 50. And so the storms, per the latest forecast data, saying about 6 o'clock is when it's going to enter, Richland County, Clay, Wayne, Jefferson, extends all the way down. Now, it could reach, again, this is 5 o'clock. That was 6. As you can see, it's approaching I-57, about I-57 Effingham area, and by about 5 o'clock. So, again, as we talked about here, clicked on the wrong thing. As we talk about here, there it is right there. So, the I-70, I-57, and by the next hour, there it is. So, all indications could be a fast-moving line. We'll wait and see what tomorrow might bring here. Now, for a moment, I want to go ahead and show you guys. Let's talk about going back to this real quick for a moment. I have some information for you about that. So, this is what the Storm Prediction Center posted. Severe storms are possible Thursday afternoon and evening across parts of the northern and central plains, the lower Missouri Valley, lower Ohio Valley, and mid-Atlantic. For the lower Missouri Valley into the lower Ohio Valley, storm systems may be moving through the region Thursday morning and continue east during the day. With plenty of moisture, strong instability, and enough wind shear, scattered strong to severe storms may develop. Now, the main threats will be damaging winds and isolated large hail. One round of storms could develop across eastern Missouri and southern Illinois, and then move east to the lower Ohio Valley. And that's what I've been focusing in on. Another round may form across southern Missouri and move east or southeast toward the mid-south and Tennessee later in the day and overnight. A strengthening low-level jet Thursday evening may help storms continue into the nighttime hours, especially across the mid-south and Tennessee. Let's go back to Future Tracker real quick. Let's go back and take a look at this. So this is as of 6 o'clock. This is as of 6 o'clock Thursday tomorrow. Let me zoom out a little bit. So you have, this is the main event. This is the line, talking about it here. Bowing out, indicative of strong damaging winds. Also cannot roll out embedded tornadoes within the line as well, even though there's only like a 2% chance of that. But again, a brief spin up can enhance the damage. By 7 o'clock, already moving to Vincennes, Princeton, McLeansboro, Harrisburg, already impacting Albion and Mount Carmel. 8 o'clock, impacting Evansville and all that. I want to zoom out a little bit to show you what could be a second threat with this. It's 9, it's 10, it's 11, and this is midnight. So we could have another threat. Now you have the line right here, which is already into Kentucky. It's already out of our area, but we could see some additional clusters of storms move through. Now their strength, it's see what happens. It depends. If they do have some energy to work with, then we can't rule out a strong storm, or we can't rule out some strong, possibly severe storms with that cluster. But by then, though, this line, it's pretty potent at this point when it gets right here. Let me do away with that. And then you have this second batch coming in. So, and they're kind of impacting Harrisburg, and it goes on down to the south, like towards Nashville. So it could, in a way, you have the second cluster right here, track to the southeast. You kind of see the direction it's going. It's going that way. So for those of us like in Mount Vernon, Fairfield, Albion, Mount Carmel, you could miss out on the second wave. However, we can't rule out where you have this cluster right here that's going to be moving in from the west. How strong will it be? I don't know. I can't say at this point, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as strong as the line, but we'll see. We'll see on that. But my gut feeling tells me it's not going to be nearly as strong. But again, that's to be determined tomorrow. So that is a look at what they're saying. I'll tell you another thing too, which I thought was interesting, is that if you compare the runs here This was like early this morning, and this is at 3 o'clock. Let me put this back here a little bit. About 6. So early this morning, the line was about right here, but I-57 did another model run, not nearly as much. But then you have this right here impacting about 6 o'clock. And then you go back to the latest right here, which so far has been pretty consistent. Minus that right there, still pretty consistent. So what we're thinking here is we are thinking at least, at least mid-afternoon into the evening hours is when we expect. But that's what we're saying here. Live chat open, by the way, if you guys want to tag along here. Done before the storm Facebook page, guys. Finally able to live stream. It has been some time. Obviously, it had to be where you had to have 60 days for the page to be activated and everything, and then be able to have 100 followers. You guys are awesome, and I thank you for liking and following along. Greatly appreciate it. By the way, too, I said I would do it, and clumsy me, I forgot. But Aiden Knuckleberry, I did get his Tumblr, by the way. I just don't have it on me right now. My goodness, but that's what I get. So don't worry, though. But that's what's going on. Let me see. Misty asked what time in the afternoon. Let me do something real quick. Yeah, the first time was a test, and for some reason it would not let me. Now, one thing for sure, though, too, is that I know the Wayne County Fair is going on. I don't know if any other county fairs are going on this week. But with that being said, the weather here for tomorrow could be dicey for events at the Wayne County Fair. So I urge county fair officials to really keep an eye on this, because this is about the same time that you start to see the grandstand events, especially about this time frame, about 6 o'clock. I would definitely be keeping an eye on the radars for sure. I'm sure they will be, but I'm just throwing it out there. Let me see if there's anyone on the live chat. Let's see if there's anyone that wants to say hi. Looks like we've got a few likes on here. Let's see, Christy, Jim, Jody as well. Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Let's see. Let's see. Gayla? Hey, Gayla. All right. Let's look and see who all is. If you guys have any questions, let me know. One thing of note, though, too, regarding tomorrow, and this is going to be a look at the weather here. 70% chance showers and storms likely, mainly before 11. But again, I do think it's going to be about, mid-afternoon, early to mid-afternoon into the evening hours. Mostly cloudy, low of 72. Friday, showers and possibly a storm. Chance of precipitation, 80%. I'll talk about Friday here in a moment to wrap things up. Friday night, still an 80% chance. Saturday, start of the weekend, partly sunny, high of 86. Still going to be kind of hot and humid a little bit. Sunday, slight chance of showers, mostly sunny, high of 85. Monday, sunny, high of 87. Let's talk about the outlook for Friday. There's not very many details for Friday as I pull it up here for you. Get my notes here. And let me see. So Friday, this is Friday. And let me just draw this here. That way you guys can see. So this is Friday. This is what they are saying so far about it. Clusters of the storms may develop Friday afternoon and evening from parts of the central and southern Great Plains into the Tennessee Valley. Main threat will be damaging wind gusts. A weak weather system will move east across the country on Friday, while another disturbance may move from the plains toward the mid-Mississippi Valley. Leftover storm energy from Thursday could also be near the lower Ohio Valley. From eastern Colorado through parts of Tennessee and Kentucky, the air will be humid and unstable. Boundaries left behind by earlier storms may also help new storms form. Several clusters of storms could develop along this corridor and produce strong to severe wind gusts. Exactly where the storms form will depend on how storms evolve on Thursday and where leftover boundaries are located Friday. Now, there is still some uncertainty with this. They have a broad marginal risk at level 1 out of 5. And as you can see, it goes all the way up to Colorado, New Mexico, as far east as North Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky, and all that. And so it remains in place from the central high plains to lower Ohio and Tennessee valleys for Friday afternoon and evening. So far, just to level 1. However, though, the focus here, if you compare both days, this is tomorrow on Thursday, and then Friday a little bit more mellowed out. But Thursday, tomorrow is the day that we'll have to be weather aware. So yes, this area right here, level 1 for level 2, I should say for now. Slight risk for severe weather. I'm not seeing any indication it will bump this up to an enhanced to level 3. Not seeing any indication of that at all. Again, the wind and hail is going to be the primary threat. I'll show you guys this again here before wrapping it up, but I talked about this already. So as we take a look here, just kind of help you guys out. For those of you who just hopped on here late, and maybe you're just kind of curious about what's going to happen. So as we zoom out right here, again, as I say, take this with a grain of salt, because again, these storms could always speed up, they could always slow down. So let me do something real quick. Zoom out, show you the bigger picture. This is 6 a.m. Thursday. That made it kind of hard to see that T right there because I wrote over Columbia, go figure. But you see here's the activity around Kansas City. See a little breaking up around St. Louis by about 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. By about noon, you start to see a little thin line, perhaps a little curly Q type. And then as we get about 2 o'clock, you start to see some storms develop. And we'll zoom in a little bit on that. Be north of St. Louis, west of Springfield, Canton, Nevada, Jacksonville area, Carrollton. And then we go right here at 4 o'clock. This is where it's at. But then we start to see it expand a little bit further. 5 o'clock. Already approaching, it's already impacting I-70. There's 57. You guys see that blowing out of the line right there, indicative of strong wind. Can't rule out an embedded tornado as well. And then 6 o'clock, there it is. Now, again, as I say, take it with a grain of salt because this could really, it could be a little bit ahead of its time. It could be a little bit behind. But what I love about the HRRR is that it helps you. It's a good little short range forecaster in terms of terms of where storms may form, what direction they're heading, the possible timing of the storms. It's even, and it just talks about also like the future in terms of heavy rain potential. And we talked about, we've had some rain here as of late. When I was vacationing in Kentucky last week, they were dealing with some flooding issues. In fact, some of the caves were flooded. As a tourist, you couldn't access the caves. And so, but that is what it's showing right there. For tomorrow. So that's at 6 o'clock. And as we zoom out a little bit, we go back a little bit ahead in time. There's the one cluster. We have another cluster that could potentially form right there on its heels. And this is going to be moving this way to the south. You can actually see it kind of form just about Carbondale, Marion, Harrisburg, Farmington, Perryville, Missouri, and then just continue moving to the southeast. It'll impact, Tennessee and Kentucky and all that. So, Mount Vernon, Fairfield may miss out on this cluster right here. But for those of you in Western Kentucky, Tennessee, maybe worth watching later on. But that's what's going on there. We could see it kind of form. It start to move into Nashville by about tomorrow morning by 8 a.m. So it could be a stormy commute to Friday morning in Nashville. All right. Well, guys, I know I know it's a long live stream there, but it feels good to live stream on Done Before the Storm Facebook page. It really does. Want to give myself a quick plug on there. It's the primary weather page. I also have the backup weather feed as well. Let me see here. And I plan on leaving that as well. I plan on using it because I've learned in years in broadcasting, you just never know. You just never know like what could happen. You know, you could always have like your original channel be for some reason just go kaput, but then you always have like that backup channel, that backup live feed. Not seeing anything there. Let me see if there's anyone else out there that may have been watching. Just want to give a quick shout out. Okay, we got another one here. Jennifer. Okay, Jennifer. Yeah. Okay. So, guys, barring anything unforeseen, should be live streaming around 4 o'clock tomorrow. And so, that is, so I'll be live streaming on there once the threat gets closer. As we give myself a quick plug about the page. So there's my page right there. It's called Done Before the Storm. Appreciate you guys. Over 500 followers. I plan on doing something. I'm still, of course, I just got back from vacation, celebrated my birthday. And so I've got an idea in mind. I just got to put it into motion because 500 followers is a big deal for me. And I greatly appreciate your guys' encouragement and support. So if you know someone who, like to be informed, keep it on Done Before the Storm Facebook page. Be live streaming on it tomorrow. As long as we have power and internet, should be good.